KAYALI has been sold, Beyonce is going to Ulta, and let's talk about the numbers, why the 4 biggest beauty companies in the business are showing not so great results for the past couple of years. Welcome to this week's new makeup releases, where we're going to chat about the new makeup that's been released, announced, and sneak peek. I also going to talk about some industry news that I want to discuss and get your feedback on it down in the comments, and also talk about like what I think that these things could be meaning for the beauty sphere. Oh, not only the one that we are visiting right now online, but also like brick and mortar and all of these different things. If you want to join in the discussions, don't forget to leave your comment down below, but do remember to keep it respectful. We can agree to disagree about things without fighting with each other. I'm very excited to let you know that the beginning part of this video is sponsored by Factor. I am such a big Factor fan. Factor is a meal service that delivers straight to your door, ready to eat meals, fresh, never frozen. Just store them in the fridge, pop them in the microwave, and in just 2 minutes, you have a delicious meal ready for you to eat. These are chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals, and they come in a bunch of different options. Maybe you're doing keto, maybe you're doing calorie smart, maybe you're like me and you're doing vegetarian or vegan meals. They have so many different options to choose from. Every week, you just log in and you decide what you want to eat this week. You get them delivered to your door, pop them in your fridge, and these are perfect lunches or dinners when you are having a stressful week. Maybe you're working from home like me, and my husband is at the office and I don't want to cook lunch just for me. It's so easy during stressful days to just pop one of these in the microwave and I can have lunch and just get going with my busy workday. Same with my husband, so easy to bring these to the office. He doesn't have to go out, venture and find lunch during his days because he is also having a very stressful work environment, being long days in the lab, and this just saves him a lot of time. So Factor just helps with your everyday life, making it a little less stressful. You don't have to worry about meal prepping, going to the grocery store, or even cooking during those really stressful weeks. Factor is owned by HelloFresh, and you do know that I am a HelloFresh customer, and I do work with HelloFresh every now and then as well, and this is just the perfect option to HelloFresh. Sometimes we have more time. Me and my husband love cooking together, being able to prepare meals. Other weeks, Factor just works out better for us. We're having more stressful weeks. We need to have already ready down meals. So it's perfect to switch in between them depending on how our schedule is. And that's what I really love about Factor. It's just so flexible. You want to have less meals, you want to have more meals, you want to skip a week. It's so easy and flexible. All you have to do is jump on the website, choose your meals, skip a week, change the amount of meals. It's no hassle. Factor also offers a marketplace with a lot of different snacks, smoothies, juices. I love their juices and their smoothies. They're so tasty. I just love having these on standby in my fridge for an easy on-the-go snack. Again, stressed out, or you just want to have something that's a little bit more healthy than a candy bar. So head to factor75.com or click the link down below and use code 50Angelica to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box. That's code 50Angelica at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. For us, Factor has just been such a great way to save time and have a more stress-free every day for those weeks where we just do not have time to do grocery shopping or cooking, but still we don't want to eat takeout all the way because takeout becomes expensive real fast, and they have so many different options to choose from. So if nothing else, check the website down below and see all the different options that they have for meals and snacks and smoothies. There's so much to choose from. So thank you again so much, Factor, for sponsoring the beginning part of this video. I am such a fan of the service. And I did film this look. I'm actually wearing something that we can talk about at the very beginning because this is the new Unearthly palette. I am currently filming another one of my several indie palettes, several looks, and this one is going to be one of the looks in that palette. I don't know when that video is going live, but I'm in the process of filming it. This is a several days kind of adventure to get one of those videos live, but let me scoochie to the side and we can get actually the picture up of the new Unearthly palette. This one is called Thinking of You, and it is a somewhat delayed Valentine's palette. There's always a problem around this time of the year, especially for smaller brands, that can be pushed a little bit to the back because this is the time of the year that has Lunar New Year. And even if you are produced in the US, a lot of makeup and a lot of everything else does include either packaging or ingredients that are sourced from countries that do celebrate Lunar New Year's, and it usually means 2 or 3 weeks of just nothing, standstill. But I'm excited to have this palette here. It's what I'm wearing today. I do think it looks really, really cute. I think it's a different take on a Valentine's palette, and I also appreciate that it is a smaller palette. You can use my code with Unearthly, which is Agnieszka, and you'll get some money off. I do think that this one is still available. I will link it down below, and like I said, this look will be live somewhat soon. Let's start talking about the Beyonce's hair care brand Cecred seems to be going to Ulta. There's been, I don't know if it's like confirmed or if it's like, no, it's definitely been confirmed. You can see the little reel here with Cecred, Beyonce, and Ulta doing a little reel thing together. So they're definitely going to be at Ulta. Don't know exactly when. Cecred by Beyonce, transformative hair care brand for all hair types, is coming exclusively to Ulta Beauty April 6th. So there's still some time left, but I think that's super exciting. I know that Ulta does have quite a lot of hair care products actually, and I think it's smart for them to bring in this brand that I do think is having quite a lot of success, honestly. Another indie release that we now can talk about that's been revealed, and that is the new Blend Bunny palette. I'm fairly sure that this one is releasing today as you're watching this. You can use my code Agnieszka and get 10% off at Blend Bunny Cosmetics. I usually do not get Blend Bunny palettes ahead of launch. And I also don't do a lot of dedicated videos, usually because it's such a quick turnaround on dedicated videos. And I just am trying in my 40s to not work 14 hours days, if it can be avoided, not work during weekends, and not stress myself for a couple of extra views. And I also have noticed with dedicated videos that the interest in showing the products diminishes a lot after the product has been revealed for a couple of days. So that's when I instead try to incorporate them in several indie palettes, several looks, so that I don't flood my own like feed with a lot of videos that you as a whole don't seem super intrigued by, or a full face of new makeup, or palette rankings, or shorts, or whatever just fits me and fits my schedule to keep my sanity. But I did actually get this ahead of time, and me and Lisa and my husband were heading out to do something, so I just sat down to get ready with this palette. So I did actually have a video on this one, and I think it is so interesting and refreshing and exciting to see this new route for Blend Bunny Cosmetics, where they're just diving into more curated color stories, really interesting and fun I don't want to say themings, but like themes of palettes with the packaging as well. This packaging is the best packaging that they've ever done. Such a beautiful packaging. They do make their new palettes magnetic as well, so that you can move around pans. I will say, when I talked about that in the video, it seemed like a 50-50, like whether or not you like care if it's magnetic or not. I would say personally, I don't want that. I will never rearrange a palette that's pre-made. I like to keep them as is, but it could also be due to me needing, I use the word very loosely, needing to keep palettes as is for comparisons, or when I bring them out of my collection and stuff like that. But I know a lot of people are very intrigued by that. I'm fairly sure the price was $45, which I feel is a very decent price. I was guessing $49. I feel like $45 is a very decent price for a palette that has that many shades and that have that good of a packaging and that has magnetic pans. I think that's actually a really good price. I know firsthand how hard it is to keep the price down. I also know that the more you order of a palette, the more you're able to push the price down. And I think the Blend Bunny might be a little bit of a bigger indie brand right now, so I am really excited to see them be able to keep this price range even though the palette now is magnetic. So that makes me very excited to see. If you want to see more about this palette, I will link my video down below. But just overall, I think it's a really beautiful palette. I think it's a very exciting new area for Blend Bunny. I cannot wait to see what other color stories the brand is going to come out with. Even though this color story isn't perfect for me, it doesn't mean that I'm not super intrigued to see what happens in the future. Something else that made me so excited. Okay, come. Who grew up playing Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, all of those games? Because Game Beauty is doing a collab, officially doing a collab with Street Fighter 6. This is a limited edition makeup collection. It is available now for a pre-order. You can use my code with Game Beauty as well and get some money off. The official shipping and the official launch date is mid to late March. So this is just if you want to secure your copy, but it's going to be launching officially a little bit later on. I usually do get PR from Game Beauty, and I'm very excited to see this because I love Street Fighter, even though I will say for me and my brothers played Mortal Kombat. That was our favorite game, but I still loved Street Fighter as well, and especially played it with my older brother. I grew up with 3 brothers. We were so into video gaming, and I'm so excited to see this. The palette does have a lot of dead space, I will say, but again, they do have a theming to go with, and I'm not sad about seeing them going with the theming. They did do quads for Attack on Titan, the last one that they did, which is, I think it's both an anime series and a computer game. That's actually one that I haven't played. So if you prefer something smaller, they did have quads with Attack of Titan, and now they're doing a bigger palette. And I think they are doing, yeah, they're doing their multi-chrome shadows again, and then they're doing the big palette, and they're doing lipsticks and different blushes and highlighters. Oh, those are the sticks. Ooh, that's really nice. The lipsticks, the blushes, the highlighters, and the single shadows are going to be $12 each. Those are, like I said, multi-chrome single shadows. And then the big palette with 18 colors are going to be $55. And then they have a bunch of different bundles. I will link their website down below. I am so excited to see this from the brand because, again, I really enjoyed the way that they have upped their quality since, what was that other 9pan palette that they did? Who were they collabing with then? That was also a game that I actually hadn't played, and now I don't remember. And I really liked the orange yellow quad. I traveled with that. Last time I traveled, I actually brought that quad when I was in Disney. I wore that quad one of the days in Disney, and I'm excited to see this. It looks very colorful. I love that lime green in there. So I'm excited to see what this is. I really enjoy Game Beauty. I'm enjoying that they're doing official collabs with games that are like, they're tugging a little bit at the nostalgia, like heartstring a bit, and I'm very enjoying it. Ooh, something else that I have it in front of me, and I'm actually wearing it today. This is also Unearthly Cosmetics, and this is their collab with Xander. So they did a green, it's like a green to a purple, you see that? Purple, blue, green highlighter, and this is called Ooze, and it is what are they multi-chrome highlighters called? Low light highlighters. So this is a green to a blue to a purple. Really beautiful, really fun. I think this one is releasing on the 22nd. My code again with Unearthly is Agnieszka. I'm not 100% sure if you can use that on the collab item, but you can always try. But I'm so excited for both of them. And I love seeing collabs being like non-traditional things, them like doing a highlighter instead of doing a palette. So I'm very excited about this launch, and I'm so excited to see what people think about it. Let me see if there's any more like indie things while we're like talking about it before we can go into some more mainstream things. Oh, do you remember last week that we talked about the fact that Lethal Cosmetics was doing a collab with Adventure Time, and we were like, why would they announce it so far ahead? Well, now we know. So because SheGlam has done a collab with Adventure Time, and I can tell you right now, again, I've never tried SheGlam. They did send me some PR, even though I never gave them my address. I don't know how they got my address, but I never used it because SheGlam just isn't for me. Let's just put it like that. I can promise you already that Lethal Cosmetics is going to do a better job at this collab than this is. Even though this doesn't look bad, Lethal Cosmetics kills their collab. Like, they're so good at their collabs, and I'm so excited to see what's going to be. I'm pretty sure the Lethal Cosmetics collab is coming out in, I think they said May. So I'm very excited to see what this is. But I wanted to talk about this phenomenon a bit because sometimes people say, why would you choose to show something so early? And I know I can answer that. I can answer this for you because Lethal Cosmetics just did it. I know another indie brand just did it. And I know a third indie brand did it before Christmas. Here's the thing. Brands talk to each other. Brands talk to each other. Owners talk to each other. Personnel talk to each other. And with this one, I'm guessing that whoever holds the franchise for Adventure Time told Lethal Cosmetics, just so you know, SheGlam also bought the rights to do a collab. They're going to come up with their collab before. So this is what brands do when they know that they are in the works of creating something, because again, creating something takes I would say, depending on how quick and streamlined things would be, I would say creating a product takes somewhere between 8-9 months and up to 2 years, depending on how long it can take. Doing my eyeshadow palette, the first one took 1.5 years. It depends on how streamlined things is and like how big of a team you have and yada yada, and how many people need to be in the deciding factor. When you're collabing with someone, more chefs for that soup, and it's going to take a longer time. So I'm guessing whoever held the franchise like for Adventure Time told Lethal Cosmetics, just so you know, this is happening. And what brands do is that they do a sneak peek. They say, hey, just so you know, we are doing this theming. We are doing this collab. We are collaborating with this creator. We are doing this theming. Whatever they have heard another brand is doing, just so that you know when they are releasing that a couple of months later, 6 months later, after the other similar thing, you're not going to be like, oh, you copied them. Because they already told you. Lethal Cosmetics already told you, no. We are already working on Adventure Time. So when you see their Adventure Time in May, nobody can be like, oh, you copied SheGlam. Because like, they already told you before SheGlam showed their picture that they're doing a collab too. And I know that other indie brands do that too. They'll hear about this brand is doing a blue eyeshadow palette, and they know that they're going to be able to release their palette 2 months after their palette. They're like, dang it. So they do a sneak peek saying, we're working on something blue. Do you love blue eyeshadow? Just so that you keep that in the back of your head, so that when they release that 4 months later, you can't be like, oh, you copied this brand, because like, no, they already told you that they're doing that. Or we're doing a dragon themed palette, and this brand hears that, oh, this other company is also doing a dragon themed palette. I better put out just a sneak peek now, telling people we're doing a dragon palette. Do you love dragons? Just so that you know that they were already working on this when that other brand is showing their dragon palette, so that there's no misconception. Because a lot of times what people think is copying is just, quite honestly, the trends in the beauty community, the trends with formulations, color stories, packaging, theming, all of that is kind of streamlined more than people think. And a lot of times great minds do just think alike. So I know for a fact that this is a technique that brands use, just so that people can't say that they were copying a brand when they actually weren't, and they were just working on something simultaneously, and it just happened to be the same thing. This isn't necessarily new, but it is new to Target, and I wanted to discuss this just to make sure that you don't end up buying dupes, or you don't end up buying, not even dupes, duplicates, not even like a dupe, but like an actual the same when you're at Target. And that is the fact that Colourpop is repackaging and re-releasing some of their iconic 9 pans at Target with the clear plastic lid to make it easier to be sold at a drugstore, because usually at drugstores they don't do testers in the US. I know, I was surprised by that as well when I moved here, but so things need to have like a clear packaging or something so that people can see it clearly. So all of these palettes that you're seeing right here, these are already existing palettes that are getting re-released in Target appropriate packaging at Target. So make sure when you're going to Target and you're seeing this and thinking, oh my god, this is so much fun, new Colourpop palettes, nay, these are actually old palettes. So don't end up buying something you already own. They didn't change the names though, so they made it easy for it. So it's Wine and Only, Going Coconuts, Gone Metal, Wild Child, Baby Got Peach, Deja Brew, Cloud Spun, Just My Luck, Blowing Smoke, It's My Pleasure, Feeling, is it Toasty? Feeling Toasty, and Blue Moon. A bunch of these palettes are top of the tippity top best palettes that Colourpop has ever done. Blue Moon, fantastic blue palette. Like, I cannot even express to you how good of a blue palette that is. You want to try out blue eyeshadow? Get the Blue Moon. It is great quality blue eyeshadows and an affordable price tag. Wine and Only, don't even get me started. Probably top 2 best palettes Colourpop has. Love Wine and Only. It is incredibly good. Or Kid You Not, which is not part of this one, which I wish it was. Or Kid You Not and Wine and Only are probably my favorite Colourpop palettes that are still available. If you love burgundy eyeshadows, you get the Wine and Only. I cannot recommend it enough. It is better than a lot of high-end like palettes. I know that Gone Metal, Going Coconuts, Wild Child, Baby Got Peach, Deja Brew, Blowing Smoke, and Feeling Toasty are great neutral palettes that people who love neutral palettes love those palettes. Just make sure you're not getting something you already love. It's My Pleasure is a great purple palette. Since then, Colourpop has released some purple palettes that have been a little iffy, if I'm gonna be honest, not as good as it's my pleasure. Just My Luck is a great green palette. Cloud Spun I have never tried, so I have no idea about that one. But I will say this is a great selection. It seems like also In a Trance is getting released as well. Blue Moon, Blowing Smoke, It's My Pleasure, Just My Luck, Film Toasty. Just want to make sure that they're not doing, no, I can't see Or Kid You Not, but if you ever see Or Kid You Not, and I think they're still keeping the original packaging, I'm gonna guess, or maybe they're updating that packaging as well because it's kind of a dingy packaging for the Colourpop website. You can always use my code with the Colourpop website and get some money off. It works on everything except already discounted bundles and sale items, and sometimes it doesn't work on a new release as it's being released, but if you just hold on for a couple of days or a day, it's going to work a bit later on. But also if you see this at Target, like, I cannot recommend these enough. This is a great addition to the Target stand with Colourpop because these are great tried and true palettes. They're actually the great Colourpop quality, unless they changed it, which I really hope they didn't. I did a video this week about Mob Beauty. You've been wanting me to try the brand for the longest time, and I decided it's finally time. Let us try Mob Beauty. And so if you want to see me trying out Mob Beauty and hear my thoughts about the products, that was Monday's video. But now they are coming out with frosty lipsticks, and I'm like, I feel like frosty lipsticks and the frosty brow bone highlight, those are the trends that I don't need to see again. Like, I never liked that trend. I don't need to see it back. And these are like light frosty lipsticks as well. This isn't for me, but maybe it's for you. Maybe you have been dying to get this trend back. If I'm gonna do metallic lipstick, I need it to be dark because I need the frost to not look too R2D2. Like, I need it to be not too like AI movie from, what was it, the early 2000s. I need not that. I need something else. So this isn't for me, but if you're interested, I'm just letting you know that they are releasing that. Also, Glossier is releasing 2 new colors of the Ultralip High Shine lipsticks, and they're releasing a dark red and a dark brown. I feel like it's very interesting to see these like glossy lipsticks that are now doing shade extensions or doing more colors, and it seems like people are really into the bolder, darker, glossy lips, and that's again not my preferred preference. But I love seeing trends in beauty, even though sometimes it's stuff that's not for me. It doesn't mean that I don't enjoy seeing, because there are so many trends in the beauty community, and some of them I love, and I like exploring, and I like experimenting and trying new stuff. But even when I see trends that are not for me, I still enjoy seeing other people explore them and enjoy them, because just because a trend isn't for me doesn't mean that it's ugly or unnecessary or shouldn't be around. I can still enjoy seeing other people get what they like just because it's not for me. So if you're into darker glossy lips, Glossier is having 2 new colors in their formula. I also saw this, and I find this very interesting because Phlur is coming out with a deodorant in their Father Figure scent. I think this is really smart. Father Figure is one of those scents that I like, but it's not my favorite. Okay, Phlur overall is a brand I want to love them so bad. The only scent that doesn't lean extremely floral on me is Tangerine Boy, which is just a very fresh zesty clementine scent, which is quite honestly amazing. But every other scent is just very, very floral, including Father Figure. But I feel like it's florals with a twist. It's still florals, and it's not my favorite. So I'm gonna opt out from this one. I like Father Figure. I think it's a great scent. It's just not my favorite because I think it's I think I'm wearing Phlur's strawberry something today. And that one is actually not as floral as people said it was gonna be, which is surprising to me because I feel like a lot of people are describing Father Figure as a fig perfume, but I think it's very floral heavy. So it just shows that everybody has different preferences and everybody takes note of different things in scents. Some people think that a scent is wonderful and some people think it's awful, and it could be for 2 totally different reasons, but still 2 very true and valid reasons. I know that Rhode has also, like, they're such a hype brand right now. We still haven't gotten any confirmation if they're actually going to Sephora or not, but it seems like they're coming out with a new shade in their Peptide Lip Tint, and it's in Sugar Cookie, which is a metallic bright pink. That's great. for someone else. Again, not for me. I've been a little bit into my pink era, but I don't do Barbie pinks really, unless it's on my eyes. I can do Barbie pinks on my eyes. I don't do Barbie pinks on my lips. I want something that's a little bit more warmer and muted. I don't know how to explain it. And I also don't like metallic lips. So a metallic Barbie pink, again, this is going to be great for someone. That someone just isn't me. Viseart is releasing a new eyeshadow palette. This one is called VisePro Peri Matte Etendu. It is $44 and it is an all matte eyeshadow palette. I found like the picture that I'm showing you here is the palette that I found where I feel like it looks what I believe it looks in real life. Not that I'm finding maybe the most flattering like picture of the eyeshadow palette, but also I feel like sometimes, I've said this before, I feel like Viseart, their pictures are a little overexposed, and I also feel like they're almost they're a little overexposed and they're a little over sharpened. This is hard. Again, I used to work as a model for quite some years, and I do know what can make and break a picture. I've hung up with a lot of photographers, and I feel like their pictures are just a little overexposed, a little over sharpened, and it makes them look almost crusty. So the picture that I'm showing you is the one where it feels like the colors look the most like I believe they were to look in an eyeshadow palette. I think this is overall a pretty decent, going from very light to very dark, neutral, slightly like neutral cool tone leaning with some almost lavender mauves. Like they're not pink enough to be like an actual mauve, but they're also not purple enough to be like, it's almost like, yeah, this mix between like a purple and a mauve. They're a little bit more cool tone. I think a lot of people are gonna love this palette. I love like an all matte look. I'm not wearing it today, but I love an all matte look. And I will say when I'm traveling, I actually do quite often do an all matte look. It's just, this isn't my color story, but if you're interested, I do think it's available already. We also have seen e.l.f. is bringing back their Mint Melt Cooling Face Primer for a limited time. This is available both at Walmart and at e.l.f. Cosmetics. I've tried one of their other, what was it? They had a cooling, oh, that was NYX that had a cooling primer, and I just didn't think that it did quite anything. Wait, didn't e.l.f. have a cooling stick? Was that NYX or was that e.l.f.? I'm confused. But I thought that it was like not enough cooling, because I feel like Tony Moly has a cooling mask and that one is affordable too, and it gives much better effect than this. This one is a gripping primer. It's a sticky gel texture, a dewy finish, cooling sensation, and it smells like sweet mint. I don't need another sticky primer, even though I will say the gripping primers by e.l.f. are really, really nice. Naturium is also bringing out, and this is exciting for two different reasons, because they are bringing out their Phyto-Glow lip balms in Shimmer, and they seem to be with a doe foot now. I will say the Phyto-Glow lip balms have a tendency when they get a little cool to become a little like almost, I don't want to say hard, but they can become like a little bit more almost syrupy and a little harder to squeeze out, so you have to like warm them in your palms to get them out. I'm not really seeing that as a problem myself, but I am excited to see them bring out a doe foot instead. It tells me that either they've changed the formula a little bit for them to be a little bit more liquidy to be with a doe foot, but I will say I will always prefer doe foot over a squeezy tube, so I'm actually excited to see this. I don't know if they're gonna do this change with the other squeezy tubes as well. I always have at least one of the Naturium Phyto-Glows floating around in my purses at all times. So I'm excited to see if they're gonna do that change with those as well. I don't love shimmery lips for the most part. There are some exemptions. If it is fine enough so it looks more wet than glittery, I can do it. So if I get these in PR, I'll try them out. I'll see where on the spectrum this leans, but overall a shimmery lip product is just never gonna get me super excited. There's also been a new brush set from Juvia's Place. We talked about the blushes last week. I actually did do a reel with the blushes because they were sent to me. That is on Instagram if you want to check it out. I also am showcasing the blushes in an upcoming video that's going to be a full face of drugstore makeup that's coming next week. But they're also releasing a 7-piece royal brush set, and it seems to be all face brushes. Powder brush, perfecting brush, finishing brush, top. It's all face brushes. I own a makeup brand that do brushes, so for me, I never tend to buy brushes from other brands unless it is something that I'm like, oh, that's a really exciting brush. And then there are brands whose brushes I really enjoy, so I still use them even though I have my own brushes, like BK Beauty and Sigma. Game Beauty has amazing brushes. I also am looking at some brushes. The new Cleonut brushes are really good. I also like the Fantasy Cosmetica brushes. Oh, and Refer has really nice brushes. I'm looking at what brushes I have here in front of me, and I still use them, even though, of course, use my own brushes too. But face brushes like this that look a little bit more, I don't want to say generic, but they're maybe not going to be perfect for me, but they are available at Ulta in case you're interested. Tarte has also come out with a new concealer. So this is the Shape Tape Blur Hydrating Concealer Stick. I'm usually not the concealer stick kind of a person. I do have very, very fine like very thin skin under my eyes. It's a lot of fine lines going on. I'm 41 years old, and I feel like a stick usually is a little bit too heavy for me. So usually I like a concealer that's like runny, liquidy. I don't want something that's thick and creamy. It usually doesn't work for me at all. So I don't think that this will be for me, but I will say if I see this in store, I will definitely like swatch it, because I can always be convinced if the formulation is perfect. MAC is coming out with some new things as well. This is the new Strobe Collection. This is a Strobe Beam Liquid Blush and a Strobe Highlighting Moisturizing Cream. I feel like they used to have this highlighting cream from before, and maybe this is just a comeback or an shade extension maybe, because I feel like I've heard about the Strobe cream before. But those liquid blushes, those in the corner, do you see those? Liquid blushes with the doe foot, that's Strobe, so they're going to be a highlighted blush from MAC. Oh, I will definitely be trying those out. I loved the metallic cream blush that MAC had in the compact for Christmas. I hope they come out with that in the permanent line. So I'm very intrigued to see what they're going to do with the metallic blush in a liquid formula. I'm so excited. I don't know about you, but I haven't been this excited by MAC as a brand in a hot minute, and I'm not mad about it. There's also a new lipstick from the drugstore. I really want to try this one out as well. This is from Covergirl, and this is the Clean Fresh Yummy Blur lipstick, $11.99 each. The colors look very pinky, but that's to be expected from a mainstream brand. I don't know if any of these colors are perfect for me, but I definitely want to try out the formulation, because they have described this as a lip color that you can either just blot on to do an ombre or a reverse ombre lip, and it's going to be a mattifying blurring effect. I'm guessing this is going to be, I call it like the matte lips 2.0. I've been talking about this a lot, like the resurgence of matte lips, but make it 2025. Make it modern. We're no longer doing that drying, cracking, fully opaque matte lipstick. We're now doing the blurring, buildable matte lipstick where you can go sheer or build it up, and the best formulas do not dry down, so that you can still move your lips together and they feel creamy but still dead matte. And I am dying to see which one this is. I am all aboard the new matte lipstick train. I am the conductor. I am the one running the show. I'm so excited about matte lips. I will be trying all of them. Please and thank you. Saie Beauty has announced that they're coming out with a new blush formula, and they are calling it the SuperSuede powder blush. Is a long-wearing baked blush that's not blah 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 blah, lightweight for diffused flush of color. It's got squalane and glycerin in it, which is interesting. It does say it has mica and silica in it to help to blur skin with a natural diffused finish. That's very interesting. It's a luxurious and plush blush that has an easy pickup, effortless, breathable color payoff, lightweight velvet texture. When they say like suede and velvet, I am not thinking dead matte. I'm thinking something that maybe has a little bit of life to it. So it's like a natural matte and not like a dead powdery matte. The colors look really interesting. I don't know if I am gonna be trying out any of these myself, but it's always interesting to see more products come into Sephora. Let's talk about a couple of drugstore products as well, because L'Oreal has come out with their Faux Brow Ultra Fine Double Brush Tip Brow Filling Pen. Wow, what a mouthful. They are really going for it. It comes in 8 different shades. It's one of those, I've seen a lot of people use these brow pens as a one-stop shop, and they're using them to fill in their brows. Me personally, I get the best results with these pens when I am finishing up my eyes with this pen and I'm just drawing in single hairs with them instead of trying to fill in your brows. I think the main way to get these kind of pens to work for you is to use them to mimic hairs. So you are not filling in your entire brows, you're just putting in extra hairs where your brows are sparse. So if you're looking for a fully filled in look, this might be more of a finishing product than like the one-stop shop basically to get a fully filled in brow. You have to think a little bit different when it comes to these like pens. Me personally, I love the one from NYX. I think the one from NYX is amazing. The new one from Benefit was okay as well, but I still think the NYX one is just great. I'm not against trying something like this. I'm not against having one with a double tip to get 2 hairs at the same time. I don't really mind that, but I also don't know exactly what kind of a tip this is. If it's like a brush, because brush tips just work so much better to get that realistic looking brow. I'm using them to fill in hairs in the beginning here because I don't have any hairs at all there. And the best trick to do it is, like I said, to finish off your brows with something like this, starting from the root and doing the hairs so that the heaviest application is going to be when you put the pen down first and then you flick out a little hair. So don't start upwards and draw downwards, because then it's going to look like you brushed your brow hairs downwards. So make sure to start your flick where the tip of where the root of the hair is supposed to be. I'm not against trying something like this. I'm not dying to try it, but I'm also not against it. Maybelline has now come out with their new colors in their Sun Kisser matte liquid blushes, and I don't think I'm gonna be trying these. I really liked the highlighty blush duo hybrid that they had last summer. Now they're coming out with, for $9.99, it's gonna be the same packaging, but they're gonna do a matte formula instead. I don't need that. I prefer their shimmery formula, so I'm gonna sit this one out, but I think it's interesting for them to come out with more things. It's just not perfect for me. The last drugstore product we're talking about is the Maybelline Colossal Bubble Mascara. I love Maybelline mascaras, but I do think that this brush seems to be more a traditional brush, which isn't my favorite way to apply mascara, so I think I'm gonna sit this one out. I prefer a plastic one. I just think they work so much better for my lashes and for how I want my lashes to look. So this is supposed to be a lash inflating formula that helps lashes achieve more volume in black and brown shades. It's with vitamin B5 to nourish lashes. I don't think that this is going to be the perfect mascara for me, but it's okay because there are so many good mascaras out there. Before we get into talking about KAYALI as a brand, I thought we could talk about 2 very different fragrance releases, because one of them is following the very, at this point, predictable trend of perfume brands coming out with body sprays, even though they've never had it before. And this time it's actually luxury perfume house Kilian that is coming out with the Angel Share, which is my favorite scent from Kilian. So beautiful. It's like a boozy, smoky, spicy, wonderful fragrance, and they're now coming out with that in a body spray. I don't need this. I don't know why I would need a fragrance that I already love, already own, in a body spray as well. How is this going to complement? Because the perfume is just going to do it better. Maybe if you wanted like a less intense version of it, a more affordable version of it, which I'm assuming it's going to be. I mean, Angel Share is very expensive. For me, this is me. If I need my perfume to last for a really long time, I will spray spritz, and then one spritz over my head to be in my hair That really works for me. And that's how some people use body sprays. I'm like, you can use normal perfume like that as well. So for me, I'm gonna sit this one out, but it's very interesting to see even the luxury fragrance brands jump on this. And then of course we have the pizza perfume. This pains me to say, and I can't believe I'm even saying this. This is not the first time we have talked about pizza fragrance on this channel. Yes, I'm surprised too. A while ago, actually Sniff had the pizza, because I have the Soda Snob. It's over here. It's a beautiful, like, spritzy Coca-Cola-ish scent. And then they had like one that was pizza sauce, which I like tomato leaves. I don't want the tomato salsa. So for me, I was out. I did not want that one. But now we have one, and this is supposed to be for Valentine's Day. It's probably already sold out. These kind of like almost troll releases, like they're not serious. It's almost made just to be trolling us, which, I mean, it works. They're almost always selling out. The cheese smelling nail polish, sold out. The Bologna, like Oscar Mayer face mask, sold out. This one, probably sold out. So this is Domino's. Yes, you heard that correctly. The Passion. Ugh, barf. It is a pepperoni inspired perfume. It is based on Domino's pepperoni passion pizza, which sees a 50% order spike each Valentine's Day. I don't know if that's for romantic reasons. Who's gonna tell them? I might have to be the one to tell them. This is a unisex, spicy, smoky fragrance with notes of pepper and spice with a warm, woody base. Is this available? This guy, he's doing the most. He's trying. He is trying. Listen, if it smells like stale, cheap pepperonis, no. No. I think the only one you're getting near is that pepperoni passion pizza. So for me, that's an absolute no. I'm over these like rage bait releases, like ketchup as lip gloss. I love a good collab. I love a quirky release. I love something with a little sparkle in our eyes. Like, I'm all for that. But when it just becomes ridiculous, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm kind of not about it. Okay, let's talk about the sale of KAYALI. I think most people thought that KAYALI and Huda Beauty was the same brand, which is not entirely sure, but KAYALI was part of the Huda Beauty brand, but it was run by Huda's sister, Mona. So Mona was running KAYALI and Huda was owning Huda, but I think Huda as a brand was owning KAYALI. But now Huda Beauty has actually sold KAYALI, and it's been acquired by a co-founder, which is Mona Katan, and a private equity firm, so that they can stand on their own, but they're still not an indie brand because they're also owned by a private equity firm. I think that this will allow Huda Beauty to be maybe even more streamlined with the releases, and it will allow Mona Katan to, without having to report back to her sister, being able to maybe make the brand even more Mona Katan and not so tied into Huda Beauty. Very excited to see what this will mean. And I also am excited to see, because this means that Huda Beauty technically could release fragrances under the Huda Beauty line, the name Huda Beauty. And it also means that KAYALI technically could release makeup. Do I think that any of these things will happen, that the sisters will start competing with each other? Not necessarily. I'm just saying this does open up for both of those scenarios. Then we need to talk about the fact that Olive Young, which is the biggest K-beauty retailer from South Korea, is opening stores in LA, in the US. They're gonna begin their journey into the US market in LA, and they're gonna open some stores. If you've never heard about Olive Young, I mean, I have only heard about it because feel like I want to keep in touch with the beauty community and what's like new and poppin'. And it is like it's like the K-beauty Sephora of South Korea. Like, they have so much K-beauty, and I find it super intriguing for them to start now to get into the US market, because I feel like we're at the perfect time in the beauty community when I feel like a lot of people are open to K-beauty, not just skincare, but also makeup. Because we are in that we've been doing the no makeup, clean girl aesthetic, fresh skin, whatever thing for a long time, which, let's be honest, started with the K-beauty trend and J-beauty trends that have been going on. And maybe we are now also ready to get into some of the other trends that they have with more visible makeup and inverted, like the popsicle lips and the highlighter in the tear duct and the eyeliners under the eyes to accentuate like the wrinkles, or like the little fold that are under the eyes. And something that I love to do, and it's not like maybe something that you've thought about, but I love putting my blush on this area. I always put and blend my blush into the the outer corner of my eyes, because I really love how that looks on me, which is something that I also know has been very popular in like K-beauty, J-beauty, overall Asian trends. So I'm very excited to see what this could mean, and if this could mean even more brands becoming, because as soon as things become more readily available, people are more open to trying them. So it seems like they are preparing to open US stores throughout the Los Angeles subsidiary area. The first store is going to be planned to be in LA. Their mission is to support small and medium-sized K-beauty brands in the global market. I'm excited to see what this is going to be. I'm excited to see them open up. My dream is to go to South Korea. I really want to visit. I love Japan so much. Me and my husband really want to go back to Japan, and I would love, if we go to Japan, if maybe we have the opportunity to visit South Korea as well. And now let's talk about these numbers that have been published in Business of Beauty, and I find them very intriguing because this is something I feel like beauty companies, and I even made a video about this, have been saying, no, we're fine. Everything's fine. Everything's okay. They're sitting in that, the meme with the dog sitting in the burning room. Everything's fine. But now the numbers are coming out of the annual sales growth at beauty's biggest companies, and they have declined every year since 2022. So here are the numbers from Coty, Estee Lauder companies, L'Oreal, and LVMH, which is the luxury brands, the ones that own like Louis Vuitton, for example. And in 2022, they were increasing in percentage of growth 15%, 9%, 11%, 17%. And then we start looking at 2023 and 2024, and numbers are not looking as glowing. They're still growing, but not at the same rate, which in the capitalistic world that we are living in right now means that they're basically failing, which is crazy. But listen, I didn't bring the system on. This is not the system that I want, but this is the system we're left with. But just look at Estee Lauder companies. They've actually seen a sale decline in 2023 by 10%, and in 2024, 2%. The brand that is doing slightly ahead of the others are actually Coty, which went from 4% in 2023 to 9% last year. And I find it very interesting to see the different reasons that they are claiming for this being said. Coty said it was lower orders from retailers, while e.l.f. Beauty said that it's inflation and economic uncertainty, which I think is probably the reason. L'Oreal and Estee Lauder companies actually cite a lack of innovation at their core brands, which is like, isn't that like your job? So you're telling me you're not very good at your job. I just feel like that's so weird. Some of them were even blaming the LA fires and the brief TikTok ban, which is like, wasn't that this year? Like last year and this year? Like, what do you mean? What do you even mean? And I like the bottom line that they're putting here, which I find very intriguing. And it says, it might be all of the above, or it could be that the post-pandemic boom with its ultra-maximalist routines that saw consumers mixing legacy and indie brand was something of a mirage. Despite years of rapidly growing sales, it's never been harder to create a lifetime consumer. And I think that is definitely one of the things. There was this boom, and a lot of the brands that were kind of relying on the lifetime consumers and consumer loyalty saw some of that loyalty almost shift in different directions, because all of a sudden there was so much variety and so many options. And when it all came down to it, and when people were out of their maximalistic era, the pick that they were left with maybe wasn't the brand that they were loyal to before this boom. And I think that that is probably one of the reasons why Estee Lauder is not doing as great anymore, because now there are so many other brands that feel they are in the same category of like, I want to say like department store brands that still feel a little bit more sophisticated and innovative and fresh while delivering the same quality at similar price tags, with just feels a little bit more interesting. So I find that super interesting. I feel like, you know, the people that used to buy Estee Lauder might be buying Victoria Beckham now. I might be wrong. I'm just saying. That's what I'm thinking. I would, of course, love to hear your thoughts. Should I go and double check if there's any other new things that are going on before we end the video? Nothing here. And nothing there. Okay, let me scooch back to the side. I hope you are having an amazing Friday and that you are going to have an amazing weekend. We are going to be doing a couple of live chats next week. We're going to do a member live chat, and I'm also going to do a live chat for the group travel that we are doing this spring, because we are ending the end date of that one, and I just want to give us an opportunity to chat together and get to know each other a little bit better. But I am waiting for my friend to leave. My friend Lisa has been staying with me here for like 2.5 months, and she's actually leaving next week. So I didn't want to schedule any of those live things before I was able to get maximum time hanging out with her. I know you understand. If you're interested in any of these products, everything is going to be down in the description box or in the YouTube shopping that's been popping up while we've been talking about the things. Thank you again so much, Factor, for sponsoring the beginning part of this video. I am, per usual, so excited to be working with Factor. I hope you're having an amazing Friday, and I will see you on Monday for a new video. Bye!